Hi, I'm John Cruz, and you're watching Cruise Control. And we're just cruising down the highway right now. I'm going to try to set up the phone. That works. I'm just going to tell you what's going on a little bit. I know you want to see the Cutlass, but I've been having car issues recently, so I haven't really had much time for the Cutlass. We're driving in the 82 right now, and so what happened was basically the 2011 that I have, the Crown Vic, the upper control arm bushing is completely wore out, and I drove on it for like a year and a half like that, just clunking around and whatever, it's fine. And it got to the point where the holes where the bushings used to be are so hogged out that on the driver's side, one side of them broke, and then the other side wound up breaking. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it blew up on I-80, and I had to get towed off the expressway, and a friend of mine picked the car up and replaced the driver's side. So in the meantime, I drove this LTD for a while, and I started getting a driveline vibration, like around 55, 60 miles an hour. It was fine until you let off the gas, then it was like a minor vibration. I'm like, oh shit, maybe the U-joints are starting to go. And it was kind of making the same noise that the station wagon was right before the transmission blew up on it. So I was like, well, I'll just, now that the Crown Vic, at least one side is fixed, I can go make money with it and drive it around. I go to fill up, I worked for a week and it was fine. And then it started making the same grinding noises when you're backing up and turning that the driver's side was making right before it blew up. So I'm all hot to trot to go, fill up gas and go working. So I fill up the gas and I notice, like, man, it's really fucking bad. So I turn the wheels, I look underneath, and sure as shit, one of the portions of the upper control arm on the passenger side was completely broken off too. So I decided not to risk it and to have the same guy go tow it away and work on it. And it's been like a week, and he's had to deal with some shit, and it was fine having at least one car, and the other cars in the shop, okay, I can wait. But then the LTD, like, I'm using it like just barely, like I'm trying to like not use it as much as possible because the vibrations get worse and worse and worse. And I've never done U-joints before, so I don't know shit from Shinola for U-joints, right? That's kind of shit I usually just take in. If I can't, just replace it, right? I never bothered to check the fucking thing. And if I had checked, then maybe I wouldn't have had to deal with this, because it got to the point where I had to drive down to the city, and it's like almost any speed, you let off the gas and it's shaking the shit out of the car. Then we do the thing down there, and then on the way back, well, actually on the way there, it got to the point where it wasn't like a kind of vibration. It was just you start from a stoplight and you get a loping vibration, like a whump, 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 whump. It's like the drive shaft is playing jump rope, basically. And then the rear U-joint actually, like the rear part of the drive shaft, falls off as I'm getting onto the expressway from Irving. So I'm at Costner. Illinois State pushes me off the road. But in doing so, it's like he's pushing me right onto the Costner ramp. And I hear the drive shaft clanging around. And then all of a sudden, I don't hear it clanging around anymore. And I'm like, yep, shit. That's the drive shaft. It just left the chat. It's sitting somewhere on the shoulder of the road. So Illinois State pushes me to Cullum, which is a side street, off of Costner, which is a kind of also a side street, but not like a little inky dinky street. It's bigger, but it's not a main thoroughfare. So the car is legally parked, and there's an old timer outside in his yard named Ted, and I noticed him outside messing around. So I'm like, hey man, not to bother you, but like, if I leave this car here for like a couple days, is that going to be an issue? And he's like, I don't know, it's street parking. You can park wherever the fuck you want. So I tell him the story, and he's like, oh yeah, people are always breaking down and leaving their cars all over the place, you know? And I'm like, I swear it won't be long. And he's like, you park it here as long as you want, you know? I'm an ex-mechanic, I'm a Ford guy, I understand. If you need any help, let me know. So I'm like, oh, fucking great, you know? So, I had him check underneath, and sure as shit, yeah, the drive shaft is totally gone. And actually, there's still one bolt in the flange that was broken off. So I put two and two together, and I'm like, that's what happened. 3 of the 4 bolts, actually all 4 worked themselves loose. 3 of them fell off, and it was just one bolt holding that drive shaft on, and the drive shaft got out of center, and that's why you get the jump rope and vibration. So, you know, I'm like, that's fucking great. I got a drive shaft at home. I just don't have any way to get there. So I have to fucking rent a car. You know, the Vic was supposed to be done on a day, and then it was held back. Then it was supposed to be done on another day, and then he was sick, and it's still in the shop, half taken apart. So I'm like, fuck, how do I get down there? So I had to rent a car from Avis. They're the only ones who had cars available. And like 4th of July weekend, nobody's renting out cars. So I had to rent a car from the mall, and I got this lovely little, I use lovely as a sarcastic term, Mazda 3 hatchback. It's got leather. I mean, it sounds like a fucking, like all the wheel bearings are bad, but it's only 7,000 miles on the car. It's just a little go-kart of a car, you know, like no suspension whatsoever. Big, fat, low-profile tires. They're like 20 series tires. It's like a thin 5-millimeter piece of rubber around a piece of aluminum, basically. And, you know, it's got this goofy big-ass dial in the center stack. The climate control looks like an old-fashioned radio, but it's not. It's the climate for some reason. It's just a weird fucking car. But it gets 31 miles to the gallon, even though I've beat the shit out of the thing, because it's a rental. Well, why not? I got the lost damage waiver, so I can bring that car back and pour it out onto the desk in a bucket, and he can't say shit, you know? I even joke with the guy, I'm like, so what you're saying is I can bring this thing back, like, in bits and pieces, right? And he's like, yeah, have you ever seen Jackass where he rented the car and he sent it through a demolition derby? You can do that now. And, like, I would appreciate you not, but it's not my car. I don't give a fuck. So, yeah, I'm driving around this stupid fucking Mazda, and I was hoping the Vic would be ready today, but it wasn't, so I had to extend it for another 2 days. But anyways, yesterday, I was like, it's gonna be fucking thunderstorming for the next 2 days. I'm gonna go down there while the weather's still good, and I'm gonna install this drive shaft. The drive shaft is off a 90 Crown Victoria P72 Police Interceptor. And this car is a 1982 Ford LTD non-police Interceptor. So, I'm like, well, I mean, it's the same fucking thing. It's the same shit. It should fit, right? It's not going from an 82 to a 92 or an 82 to a 2012 or well, they don't have 2012. An 02 or a 2011. It's like 82 to 90. I mean, they haven't changed much. So I thought. I was wrong. I get down there and jack the car up, and it, like, I'm on my way down, And right around Highland Park, it's pouring cats and dogs. And I'm like, motherfucker, it better not be like this when I get there. And then as soon as I hit the Edens, it clears up. So it's not raining, it's just wet by the time I get there. Whatever. I'll be a man, I'll fucking do it in the rain or do it in the wet. I don't give a shit. The front end slides into the transmission, easy peasy, like it's meant to. Like, I'm like, this is great. I'll have this thing. I got the 3 bolts from a friend of mine. Thanks, Christy. It'll be installed like nothing, right? Wrong. You know, I'm trying to line up the bolts, and the bolt pattern on the yoke is bigger than the bolt pattern on the flange. And, hold on, there's somebody calling me. I'm going to ignore them. And, so, where was I? Oh, yeah, the bolt pattern for the drive shaft was too big. And I'm like, what the literal fuck? Only Ford would do this. They love, you know, making shit look like it'll fit, but not fitting. That's just what they do. Whether it's a 50s or a 60s or a 70s or an 80s or a 90s or a 2000s, it's all the same. Oh, you want to put this part from a 76 Thunderbird Cougar to a 77 Cougar? Wrong, can't do that. You want to put this part from an 82 to an 84 Ford Crown Vic? Wrong, can't do that. What about, you know, putting a 2007 this and that on a 2011? Nope, not gonna do that. It's the same fucking car. Why not? Because we want you to go and buy from us. When it comes to when they were brand new, we want you to buy brand new 2011 shit, not 97 shit or 85 shit. Anyways, so I'm sitting there racking my brain. What can I do? How many different sizes are there? You know, what year did they change? And I post the post online and my amp light is coming on now. Oh, shit. Some of you guys really helped me out, you know, like gave me some decent information. Thank you for that. And, that ain't good. I really hope I can make it home. Anyways, I'm sitting there racking my brain, don't know what to do. And, you know, all the guys, you know, like the one guy who usually has my Panther parts for me, he's like, I do have one, but, you know, I haven't had a chance to pull it out. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's fucking 4th of July. It's raining cats and dogs. The car's not in your yard. You know, and it's like, it's an emergency to me only. And I get it. I'm not busting his chops or anything, you know. The fact that he's willing to work with me at all is a godsend. Thank you. So I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? And then I'm like, wait a second. I got that 85 Crown Vic police interceptor in the back. Maybe that'll work, you know? So I wound up, let me turn off the radio just in case. I wound up pulling the drive shaft off of that. And I measured it out, and yeah, it's smaller bolt pattern, so I'm hoping it's the right one, and sure as shit, I mean, I've driven probably 20 miles now, and it seems to be doing just fine. I don't know why my amp light is flickering on and off. That's really kind of bugging me, but I got a multimeter in the trunk. When I get it home, I'll go test it out, see what it's doing. There was one time where the amp light was on, but the alternator was still charging. It was just the wiring to the dashboard was bad. It was like a lead on the back of the alternator had come loose, or I had taken it off because I had filled it with, oh yeah, I had to fill it with power steering, so that's probably what happened. I probably knocked that off. So I'll just go put it back on. It should be fine. Famous last words, right? So, yeah, so this drive shaft's doing just fine with only 3 bolts on it, because that one bolt is still broken off in there. And I'm still going to keep the 90 drive shaft because I think that's the same bolt pattern as the mid-90s ones. And I'm planning on buying a 97 Grand Marquis rear end, but it's shoved with 373 gears and it's a rear wheel disc brakes. So I think that'll wake up this car, and it'll also, I'll have four-wheel disc brakes, which will be great. Because I can work on drums, I just don't like doing it. You know, I have to do it one at a time so I remember how the fuck it goes back together. You know, I'm using used fucking brake tools and shit. But I can do them if I have to. I just don't like to. So if I put that 97 Grand Marquis rear end on, I'm pretty sure that's the bigger pattern. And the way you can tell is, so imagine the 4 bolts is a square. And you take one side of the square, so 2 adjacent bolts, they're either gonna be 3 inches apart if you measure from the center line of the bolt hole, or they're gonna be 2.5 inches apart. So that means the bolt pattern is either gonna be 4 1/4 approximately, or it's going to be 3.5 approximately. So if you have an 87 or newer, most likely it's going to be the bigger one. And if you have an 86 or older, and it's not a hard rule, sometimes they held off, they had extra parts, so you might see some on an 87, some civilian 87, some the small ones. But by 88, pretty much all of them are going to be the bigger ones. And all the smaller ones, or the older ones, are going to be smaller, except, I think somebody said if you have an older one but it has a tow package, then you're going to have the bigger flange with the bigger bolts and the bigger yoke. Otherwise, it's the same fucking drive shaft. And some guy said you can go ahead and get a combination or a hybrid U-joint, so you can have the bigger U-joint ends meet the smaller yoke, but then that would have meant I would have to get the smaller yoke still. I lost the original drive shaft. I tried going back for it, and it was gone in 2 days. The old man said it was still there a day later, but he didn't check a day after that. And that's when I checked, and it was gone. Somebody must have picked it up for scrap or something. Who the fucking want an old 82 Ford drive shaft, you know, except me. So that's where I'm at. You know, if this thing makes it home without blowing up, I'll actually have a fucking car to drive, and I don't have to have the rental anymore. I'll have to return it Sunday. I can't return it tomorrow because nobody's going to be open July 4th. And Sunday, I got to return it before 1 p.m. So, but this is good. I feel good that I have an actual car of my own. And it's a nice car. I mean, you guys might not think it's a nice car, but I think it's a nice car. Forget about the hole in the floor that's filled in with license plates. Forget about the mismatched trunk lid and the rear fender extension. You know, forget about the mismatched door and the interior. The fact the air conditioning's been cut out of it. Forget all that stuff. Still a nice car. At least I think it is. Alright guys, thank you for hanging out. Yeah, we've been driving 20 minutes almost, and so far no major issues. Hopefully the alternator's still working, and it's just the wiring is making a loose connection. And I'll let you know, if you hear from me in the next 20 minutes that it hasn't made it home, then we'll know how good of a mechanic I actually am. Even I'm not really holding my breath, I was expecting it to fucking do something, but so far it seems okay. All right, guys, keep it shiny side up, keep it under 100. Y'all take it easy.